Lights. This is Underground Season 1, Episode 9, Black and Blue. It opens with Rose back in a carriage wagon looking up at the sky, and she's being transported to a slaughterhouse on her way back to slavery. And it's like 9 men or boys or whatever and one Rosalie. And then the episode closes with Rose and Noah and Boo reunited at the Hawks house. Some of the highlights are getting Rose and getting Clyde and money, 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 money. And that's basically it. So if you'd like to hear more of my recap and review of Underground Episode 9, Season 1, Black and Blue, please stay tuned. I'm Angela. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so the scene starts, or the episode starts with the men gathering around Rosalie once they get to the slaughterhouse. One of them, take off that dress. That's a white woman's dress. Rosalie, no! And then August appears to protect her. That woman, that girl is another man's property. I'm not going to let you just dog her out. He don't say dog her out, but you know. And then Rosalie takes off the dress and throws it in the fire. And then we have the opening sequence. August tells us that is tying up Rose, and as he's tying her up, he's telling her that she is worth as much to her daddy as all of the other rest of them combined. So I don't know if her bounty was 2,000 and everybody else's bounty was 1,000. At first I thought her bounty was 5,000, so I'm confused. But anyway, it's a lot of monte. It's a lot of money. And that Jeremiah is trying to recruit August to become a part of the Patty Cannon Gang, because August is clearly a leader and clearly passionate, not just a regular guy who's easily distracted, which is the key word for this season. It's going to come up a couple more times. We see Noah and Kato robbing a wagon that has a lock on the door. Again, here we go. Keyword distraction. They're like, we got to get a good distraction. And they break the lock on the wagon, and the wagon is filled with money. Money, 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 money. We see Noah and Kato fighting. Kato says he is only helping because that girl Rose knows where they're supposed to go when they get to the other side of the river. And Noah says, I seen you with that bonnet. You do care, Kato. I see you. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny, because I think he's a mixed character. He cares. He wants to care. He doesn't care. He don't want to care. He's I love to hate him. I don't know about you. I don't want to bring everybody into the mix, but I love to hate him and I hate to love him. But I like Kato. I think Kato might be one of my favorite characters. Kato tells Noah about the bonnet and, you know, his wife and his child, and he followed the slavers when they took him away, and then they dragged him back, and he followed them again. And but then he says that the bonnet is not a reminder that he has people out there that he loves. The bonnet is a reminder that a heart is only good for beating and blood. It don't need people to beat. All it need is blood. So he don't care nothing about nobody, and that's what the bonnet remind him of. So he says. Okay, so we see John Hawkes in... We see John Hawkes on the road. His hand is injured. And in flashbacks, we learn that he was at a slave auction. He bid on a young girl. Her name is Ella, pretending to be somebody else, Mr. Hawkins, so that he could get close to this guy, Basil Abbott's. Then we see him at Basil Abbott's plantation, and we hear the tinkling of bells. You know, there's kind of some conversation going on how Basil Abbott is so effective and popular as a slaver. And, that's Millard's friend showing up. How Basil Abbott is so popular as a slaver and so effective, and hi! And blah, 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 blah. But meanwhile, we realize that the bells that we're hearing are on Clyde, and the slaver proudly, proclaims that he got Clyde under control. He got them bells on him, and he has them. It's some other stuff going on. I didn't catch it all. And for some reason, I had conflated the bells around Noah's neck in the opening scenes, in the opening episode, the ones that kind of stick up. That's what I thought was on Clyde in my mind. And it's just bells sewn on his outfit. And I think his arms are constrained or something. But he kind of seemed like he's serving tea or something. I'm not really clear. But he basically is proud that, this one ran away and now I can hear him everywhere he go. So something that kind of sounded pleasant, like, oh, the tinkling of little bells, is kind of like it's a sign of more oppression and more bullshit. Okay. And then the other thing Cato had said is, your heart is only for pumping blood. You remember that while you get yourself killed going after that girl. We see Elizabeth Hawks reading to Boo. There's an insistent knock on the door, and it's Constable Kyle. Has John returned? And Elizabeth says no. And Kyle grabs her. He back for more. He done got some, and he is back for more. So she knocks him in the head, and he ends up tied down in the runaway hideaway. So soon John is home in the next scene, or next time we see him, John is home, and she introduces him to Boo. And so that's that. Okay, so August. No. Okay, so we see Rose tied up, being guarded by Ben. They're chit-chatting, and she uses that time as an opportunity to establish. She introduces herself to Ben. Ben introduces himself to her. He says, I know who you are. You were from the slave bill. And she's like, I like the color yellow, but not any color yellow. I like shiny yellow, like the ribbon. The ribbon, the theme has gone through. She's mentioning it again, that I used to have. I like the smell of these cookies. She kind of says some things that are very personal to her as a person and a human being, because she wants to establish to him, and she says to him, I am not just a name on a slave bill, or just a runaway, or just $5,000. So, I think that's kind of an important line. And she delivers it much better than I did. Jeremiah is bringing pants for Rosalie, and he brings a book for Ben. The book is called Moby Dick, and he tells him it's about a hunter who becomes obsessed with the hunt. And he's put a little letter in there as a bookmark. Jeremiah was trying to be helpful. So it's hot in there. The dress is burning. We see a shot of that. Rosalie is with Ben. Oh, the hunter obsessed with the hunt. They talking about your father. You gonna read that book? Rosalie asked Ben. Ben's chit-chat. And I always wanted to go with my father on the hunt, and now I just wish I was back home. I don't like this, and I don't like this father. I don't like this life. This is not for me, is basically what he's saying. Rose is starting to hallucinate. We see Cato drives by in the wagon throwing money. So the regular hunters, they money, and they chase after him, easily distracted. And August, super slave catcher, super slave hunter, says, Native People Whisperer says, that's a distraction. They're here for the girl. So he's not distracted by that money, because he's a consummate hunter. August is. Okay. We see John Hawks in flashback again with Basil Abbott. He's at his plantation. He says that anybody can be bought and sold, not just niggers. That's what Basil Abbott has learned. And so they decide to do a wager to get Ella back, because Basil was bidding on Ella, who's supposed to be a virgin, and that's supposed to make her so valuable. And Hawks outbid him, and that's how he kind of started to establish a relationship with Hawks or whatever. So back at the slaughterhouse, the dress is still burning. Noah last time we saw him, he was looking in a bin of blood, and in this scene he rises out of a bin of blood with a knife and a carcass above him. The slave catchers find the carriage, and there's money outside of it, and they're picking up money and looking at the carriage, and then they open the door, and Cato is inside, and he shoots him. And then he looks back at a treasure trunk full of money. Then we see super slave catcher August, who sees Ernestine in a hallucination. We see Ben woozy. He's stumbling. He finds the letter that Jeremiah had put in the book as a bookmark. He reads it and realizes that his father, he says, he's lied to me. We don't need the money. And then he's stumbling around, and he gets the knife, and Rosalie looks at him scared, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then we see August talking to Steen in his mind. We see that Ernestine tells him that there was devil snare in the dress, and we sort of see through flashbacks that establish Rosalie getting the devil snare and how it's kind of moved into the dress, and that she threw the dress in the fire in order to create a situation where other people would be woozy, and she would be woozy too, but at least she would know she was woozy, and they might not know that they were woozy. And Noah stabs one of the slave hunter people. Ben unties Rose and says, run. That's the second time we have run in this series that I remember. And then Ernestine says, blood stains everything. I've learned lemon water helps. But they don't go into it. But lemon water is really good spiritually too. So I thought that was kind of powerful. Elizabeth brings her husband up to speed on Boo. And at the same time, Elizabeth Hawks brings her husband up to speed on the fact that she slept with Kyle to protect Boo. And baby, he is mad. We see Ernestine talking to, my leg is numb. We see Ernestine talking to August in the hallucination, and she tells him the hunt's never over for you. Wolf doesn't know that he's a wolf, but he suspects. And then we see Rosalie in her hallucination. She stumbles with a knife. She finds herself in Monster Macon's office in her mind. He says, you're safe here. You're home now. And she says, I've never been safe here. I was never safe here. Then we see Rosalie and Bill Meeks in the hallucination. And she says to Bill Meeks, I ain't mean to hurt you. And I think that Monster Macon might say in the background, we know. Then she say, I meant to kill you. It was the first free thing I ever done. As Ernestine fades from August's hallucination, we see Noah and August have a confrontation. Noah has a knife. August puts away his gun so he can fight mano a mano with Noah, because he's just such a super fair guy. We see Rosalie and Monster Macon. They're arguing. He says, you are my daughter, and there is no freedom for you. And he knocks Rose down, and then the stripes, the where she had gotten injured from the whip on her arm earlier, they kind of pop up in the hallucination. And he says, I own you. And Rose grabs a letter opener off his desk and stabs him. Monster Macon, but it's not Monster Macon. In her hallucination it is, but it's Ben. She stabbed the baby Ben in real life. And we don't know. Ben calls out, Pa, 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 Pa. And we see August sort of coming out of his hallucination, hearing his son calling him, or in and out of his hallucination, hearing Ben calling him Ben. August goes to Ben. We don't know if Ben is dying or not. Rose runs out of the slaughterhouse. Noah has run out of the slaughterhouse too. They meet outside. Where's Cato? Says Rose. Noah, he was supposed to be here. And we look up and down the road. No Cato. And then Noah, we got to move. We can't wait, because the slave catchers, we see them right on their path. And then just as they're about to just have to run on feet and try to outrun these people, Cato, our hero, appears. And so the hunters give chase. They have to abandon the wagon because of a log in the road. Cato, Rose, and Noah head toward the sound of water because they're looking for a bridge. Cato gets caught up in a trap, which flips him upside down. They're examining the trap. Noah and Rose, they tell the hunters are coming closer. They're shooting. They tell Rose to go on and find the bridge, and that they're going to get Cato down. I think Cato has 1 or 2 guns, and he's upside down shooting. And Noah is trying to get him, get him loose. And then there's somebody with bows and arrows, and they get him, and some arrows in his leg. And so Noah just kind of is like, this is not a good situation. So he throws a knife at Cato and is like, sorry. And Cato kind of looks at him like, dang, I knew when it came down to it, you would abandon me. But it's kind of like, what is Noah to do? So I see that I got to go to rehearsal. This is part 1, and we'll be back with part 2. Be you, be fabulous you. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, and watching. Mwah.